Hey curious minds, welcome back to Ever Curious. I'm Adam, and today we're diving into a fascinating, and maybe a little eerie, topic: people who predicted their own death. Yes, you heard that right, the idea that someone had a sense or even a full-blown prediction of when they would die. Now before we go any further, I want to be clear. This isn't about morbid sensationalism. It's about exploring human intuition, coincidence, belief, and the great unknown. So let's keep an open mind, question everything, but also stay grounded in credible sources. Ready? Let's get started.
Ever curious, learn what you love.
First up, what does it even mean to predict your own death? It's not always as dramatic as it sounds. It could be a very specific date or time. It could be a strong gut feeling or a premonition. Or it might be a simple statement like, "I don't think I'll live much longer." Some researchers have actually looked into this. For instance, an article in Psychology Today explores what they call mortality experiences, where people seem to know in advance when their time is up. There are so many potential factors at play here. Psychological ones, like intuition, deep-seated fears, or just being very in tune with one's own illness. There are spiritual beliefs, like having visions or near-death experiences. And of course, there's always the possibility of pure coincidence. So as we explore these stories, we're going to keep a few things in mind. What's actually documented? What's plausible? And what parts just remain a complete mystery? Let's begin with one of the oldest and most remarkable cases, Emanuel Swedenborg. Born in 1688, Swedenborg was a Swedish scientist, philosopher, and theologian. Basically, a genius who did a bit of everything. But what makes him really interesting for our topic today is that he reportedly predicted the exact date of his death, March 29, 1772. His maid later confirmed that he had announced this date well in advance. The story goes something like this. Swedenborg wrote a letter to John Wesley, the founder of Methodism. In it, he said he'd been informed by the spiritual world that Wesley wanted to speak with him. But he added, any meeting would be too late, because he was scheduled to pass away on March 29th. And according to the historical accounts, Swedenborg died on that exact day. His servant girl apparently said he approached his predicted death with total calmness, as if he were just going on holiday or to some merrymaking. So what can we take away from this? Well, Swedenborg was already deeply spiritual. He believed he had a direct line to the spiritual realm, so his prediction likely came from that deeply held worldview. The documentation, like the servant's testimony and the letter, gives it a layer of credibility, although verifying historical details from that long ago is always a bit tricky. It really makes you wonder, was this a case of incredible intuition, a self-fulfilling prophecy, or just a one-in-a-million coincidence? It's a compelling story to kick off our list. Next, let's turn to a more famous literary figure, Mark Twain, whose real name was Samuel Clemens. Here's the fascinating part of his story. Twain was born in 1835, which happened to be a year when the famous Halley's Comet graced our skies. Fast forward to 1909, Twain was quoted as saying, "I came in with Halley's Comet. It is coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it. It will be the greatest disappointment of my life if I don't go out with Halley's Comet." And what happened? He died on April 21st, 1910. Just one day after the comet reached its closest point to the sun on its next pass. It's an incredibly striking coincidence. Let's break it down a bit. Twain's prediction was more poetic than a precise date. He was tying his life's journey to a major cosmic event. The symmetry of it is what's so powerful. Born with the comet, died with the comet. So what are the possible explanations? He obviously knew the comet was returning and made the statement, maybe for dramatic effect, or maybe from a genuine belief. The fact that he died so close to that event could just be a wild coincidence. Skeptics would argue that our brains are wired to find patterns, and we might be making a bigger deal of this prediction than it deserves. But still, you have to admit, it makes for an unforgettable story about a self-predicted death. Now let's look at a handful of other cases. They're a bit shorter but just as thought-provoking. Take the composer Arnold Schoenberg. He had a severe fear of the number 13, a condition known as triskaidekaphobia. He reportedly felt an intense dread when his age added up to 13. On July 13, 1951, when he turned 76, and you guessed it, 7 plus 6 equals 13, he spent the entire day in bed, consumed by a feeling of doom. That night, His wife said his heart gave one powerful, final beat, and he died. Then there's Martin Luther King Jr. on April 3, 1968. In Memphis, he gave his famous "I've been to the mountaintop" speech. In it, he said, "I may not get there with you," powerfully suggesting an awareness of his own mortality and the dangers he faced. He was assassinated the very next day. There are many other examples, from musicians like Buddy Holly to actors like Oliver Reed, who all seem to have some premonition. These cases show just how varied these experiences can be. Some are precise predictions, some are vague intuitive feelings, and others are framed by cultural or religious beliefs. They also highlight the biggest challenge we face when looking at this topic. How do you separate genuine intuition from coincidence, or from a narrative that was built up after the fact? So this brings us to the big question: why might this happen? Why do some people seem to know their time is coming? There are a few different angles to consider. First, there's the simple awareness of one's own physical condition. If a person is seriously ill, their body is giving them constant signals. If you genuinely believe you're going to die on a certain day, that belief could create so much stress and anxiety that it actually impacts your health. Or it could simply be a powerful coincidence that we later frame as a prediction because it makes for a better story. Finally, there's the cultural and spiritual framing. People who believe in visions, mysticism, or have strong religious faith might interpret certain dreams or events as signs from a higher power. Swedenborg is a perfect example of this. His spiritual beliefs were the entire foundation for his prediction. As that Psychology Today article on mortality experiences suggests, there's no single, easy answer. But these stories open the door to thinking about the limits of our understanding when it comes to intuition, our awareness of death, and how we cope with the unknown. So, to wrap things up, what do you make of all these stories? Are they genuine predictions of death? Are they just incredible coincidences? Or are they symbolic statements that have grown into legends over time? Either way, they serve as a powerful reminder of just how mysterious life and death truly are, and how much we still don't fully understand about human consciousness and intuition. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next curious topic. And down in the comments, let me know, do you believe someone can predict their own death? Or have you heard any other stories like these? I would absolutely love to hear from you. Thanks for watching Ever Curious. Stay curious, stay thoughtful, and I'll see you next time.